Bonsoir, Mesdames, Messieurs. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to thank the Chamber for organizing tonight's meeting and to wish all the candidates good luck in the final 2 weeks of the campaign. Ontario is at a crossroads. Every day we wake up with the same headlines. Unilever and Bramley is moving to Kansas, where they're investing $190 million in 290 jobs lost. North Bay Resin Company closing, 190 jobs lost. Company reports of the 13 North American plants, the one in Ontario is the most expensive to run. Electricity rates 35% higher than U.S. plants. Quality meat packing, 750 jobs lost. Right here in Cornwall, Phillips Lighting, moving to the U.S., 190 jobs lost. In just the last 5 weeks, more than 2,500 manufacturing jobs have left the province of Ontario. But it gets worse. John Deere, Siemens, Caterpillar, Heinz, Kellogg's, and so on. In fact, there have been over 4,200 jobs lost since Kathleen took over as Premier. Since the McGuinty-Wynne Liberals took over 10 years ago, over 300,000 people have lost their jobs in the manufacturing industry. Another 150,000 people have left this province to look for a job somewhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, the jobs losses are accelerating. Good-paying union and non-union jobs are leaving. Instead of paying taxes to support our kids' education, health care, our seniors, and building needed infrastructure, they are now looking for a job and they need our help. Is it their fault? No, definitely not. The Liberal government has squandered our natural advantages and made our companies uncompetitive. The highest electricity rates in North America forecast to rise another 42% over the next 5 years. Highest payroll taxes in North America. Second highest property taxes in the continent. Enough is enough. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do better. We have to get our province in order, and a Tim Hudak PC government will make our province competitive again. We have a 5-point plan to create more jobs, better jobs, and increase our take-home pay. We will make energy affordable again. We will get our spending under control, eliminate our deficit, and lower taxes. We will train more workers in good-paying, skilled trades. We will eliminate 1/3 of the province's red tape, ending the bureaucratic runway. And we will increase our trade with our neighbors. The last PC government created 1.2 million jobs. It's time to clean up the corruption and the waste that has become the trademark of this Liberal government. It's time to make Ontario a have province again, to protect our services that we deserve, and to make life affordable again. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask for your support on June the 12th. It's time to elect the PC joint government. Thank you.
Candidate Sean McCray. Sean?
Thanks, Dan. Good evening. Thank you to our organizers for this opportunity to speak to you, the citizens of Cornwall and surrounding area. Our society here in Ontario is broken. We broke it with socialism, and we were warned. Many great thinkers and writers over past centuries have extolled the necessity of securing the freedom of the individual by limiting the power of the government. The role of this limited government is to protect civil liberties and property rights through an independent judiciary and rule of law, and allows for laissez-faire economics through free markets. Libertarian philosophy draws upon an intellectual understanding of individual liberty, natural law, utilitarianism, and a belief in progress through unregulated free will in its natural expressions, entrepreneurial spirit, and community improvement. The greatest and most prosperous nations of the world were founded upon these principles. By contrast, using government as a tool of force to seize a worker's earnings and give those earnings to other less productive citizens and cronies is a disincentive to work and produce and grows expensive, obstructionist bureaucracy. My great-grandfather was a farmer, as I am. He was a worker. And he, in turn, was the grandson of destitute immigrant Highland Scots who learned the value of property rights by losing them. He was university educated at Queen's and he prospered. The few taxes he paid at the turn of his century were largely property taxes for local government. This was early Ontario, where the poor had freedom and opportunity to join the middle class by capitalizing upon their initiative. In 14 years into my century, our province is over $280 billion in debt, which is leveraged against the potential taxation of my children's future earnings. Without fundamental change in direction, my kids will have to pay their own way and support many others, and pay our debt as well with interest. My ancestors escaped from servitude and destitution, and my children have been put back into it. As concerned citizens, you'll ask today, what will you candidates promise to do to fix education, healthcare, hydro costs, fuel costs, bring back jobs, and so on? My three competitive candidates will promise additional tinkering with our nanny state's monolithic bureaucracy. Always more top-down centralized state planning. More intervention, more debt. It will all fail to prevent calamity. I'm Sean McRae, your Libertarian candidate, and I'm different. Thank you.
Now we'll hear from our Liberal candidate, John.
Thanks, Dan. Good evening, everyone. First off, I'd like to thank you all for coming here tonight. I'd also like to thank the Chamber of Commerce and Coach Co for filming this and broadcasting this event. Bonsoir à tous, c'est un grand plaisir de vous voir ici ce soir et en tel grand nombre. I'm running to be the next MPP of Stormont Dundas in South Glengarry because I want to be your voice at Queen's Park. Je veux servir notre communauté et être notre voix forte at Queen's Park. I want this riding to be represented by a strong leader, not someone who sits on their hands and sits on the sidelines as their peers speak for them in the legislature. I want businesses to grow, young people to get good paying jobs, students to excel in school, and our most vulnerable getting the support they need. All of this is possible under a Kathleen Wynne government. Our Premier has a plan for this province, and I'm excited to be part of that plan. I'll be honest with you, Tim Hudak government scares me. Tim Hudak has already promised to fire 100,000 people in this province if he becomes Premier. Those cuts will have a domino effect on our province and will be brought back to the Harris days. Mr. McFonnell will tell you tonight that their plan makes sense. But in recent days, some of Canada's leading economists have exposed the flaws in their so-called Millions Jobs platform. In fact, some of Tim Hudak's own candidates have spoken out against him and advanced his Million Jobs campaign. These economists all note that by mistakenly counting person years of employment as permanent jobs, this platform claims to create 8 times the number of jobs that is mathematically possible. Let's not forget that not too long ago, we were delivered another conservative plan. The right to work would have devastated this province. The Conference Board of Canada, an organization the PC Party consulted in drafting their platform, confirmed that their miscalculation. It is troubling that when confronted with these facts, rather than acknowledging the mistakes, they take measures to correct it. Tim Hudak has denied that there is even a problem. That's not the kind of leader I'm looking for as Premier. I stand behind Kathleen Wynne's plan for Ontario, and I'm proud to represent the Liberal Party of SDNG. Merci beaucoup, thank you.
Now Elaine McDonald, our NDP candidate. Elaine.
Thank you, Dan. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends. I present myself to you tonight as the candidate best able to advance your interests at Queen's Park. So I ask for your vote. Mesdames et messieurs, chers amis, je vous demande votre vote. Vous pouvez avoir confiance que Andrea Barbat et le NPD feront une vie plus équitable et meilleure pour les Ontariens. We and the NDP have the best leader, the best record, and the best platform, and you can make it all yours on June 12th. Vote for Elaine McDonald. Consider our economy. You know it's stalled, and I'm going to spare you the details. You've already heard them, in fact, this evening so far. Well, I will, though, share the details of our 5-point plan that will get Ontario working again. The first feature is an investment tax credit for any corporation or industry or company that invests in retooling, expanding, or upgrading their operation. There will be no cap imposed on this tax investment credit, and we have set aside $250 million a year for the next 2 years to fund it. In addition, we will give a job creation tax credit of up to 10% with a cap of $150,000 per company for each new job created. We will lower small business taxes from 4.5% to 3% over the next 2 years, and we will increase the minimum wage to $12 an hour, and we'll index it to inflation by 2016. It will be nice if you work at Tim's if you can afford a cappuccino at the end of the night, or even a sip of coffee. The final point, we will create a home retrofit fund for energy-efficient retrofits and the installation of solar panels for conservation and for economy, and I might add job opportunities for independent contractors and small businesses. And that's just the beginning. We know there's work to be done to turn this province around, but we're committed to making it happen. For 2 years, in every consultation we've had with people in the province, we've heard about the diminishing power of every dollar you've earned and the difficulty of making ends meet. We will respect your tax dollars. We will lower costs where we can, as in hydro, where we'll remove the HST from your hydro bills. We will ensure you have access to public services that you need in health care, home care, long-term care, and all the other cares, daycare, child care, elder care, the supports you need. We'll share the care with you. Complementing this program, I offer my own skill in government and in advocacy. And of all the parties, the NDP is the party that consistently punches above its weight. For the best results and the best outcome on June 12th, vote Elaine.